Hello everyone, Texas Man here. I hope that you guys are all having a great day. If you guys would please give this video a thumbs up. If you guys do really enjoy it, subscribe of course if you guys have not already. Also do me the biggest favor of all, make sure you guys hit the bell notification button so you guys don't miss out on future videos or streams here on the channel. And as always, we're going to be talking positives and negatives, talking about Dune Part 2. And just to prove it, yes, I have the book. I actually have all of them. And I finished rereading the 600. How long is this book? 617 pages long. This thing is long. So I'm happy that it got divided into two parts, and I am so stoked, guys, to be able to finally talk to you guys about a movie here in 2024. I will try to leave a link to the end of this video for the Dune playlist. If you guys haven't watched my review of Dune Part 1, I do have it in there. I am highly considering, even though the movie's horrible from the last time I saw it, reviewing the original 80s Dune movie. If you guys would like me to do so, please let me know in the comments down below. This video is going to be completely spoiler free, so if you haven't had a chance to watch the Dune Part 2 movie itself, I'm not going to dive into anything spoiler wise. If you guys want to talk about spoilers, hit me up in the comment section down below and we can talk about spoilers down there. But I wanted to read, so this is slightly spoilery, but this is one of the biggest problems I have with this film, is that while it is mostly faithful to the book, to the source material, there are some changes. Some of the changes I didn't mind. Some of them, especially towards the end of this movie, the last 10-15 minutes, kind of drove me nuts. They changed certain things, certain aspects, in order to try to set up a possible third movie, which is supposed to combine the second and third book into one film, since the second book is really short. But if you have seen Dune Part 2, this is how the movie should have ended. Okay? And spoilers, it doesn't end like this. So I'm going to read the last two paragraphs of the book, and let me know how you think the movie ended compared to this. Do you think it was better in the movie, or do you guys think it was better in the book? So, no title for me, Chana whispered. Nothing, I beg of you. Paul stared down into her eyes, remembering her suddenly as she stood once with little Leto in her arms. Their child now dead in this violence. Yeah, they actually had a child. I swear to you now, he whispered, that you'll need no title. That woman over there will be my wife. He's talking about the princess. And you will be but a concubine because of this. It's a political thing, and we must weld peace out of this moment. Unless the great houses, we must obey the forms. Yet that princess shall have no more of me than my name. No child of mine, nor touch nor softness of glance, no instance of desire. So you say now, Chani said. She glanced across the room at the tall princess. Do you know so little of my son? Jessica whispered. See that princess standing there, so haughty and confident? They say she has presence of a literature nature. Let us hope she finds solace in such things. She'll have little else. A bitter laugh escaped Jessica. Think on it, Johnny. That princess will have the name, yet she'll live as less than a concubine, never to know a moment of tenderness from the man to whom she's bound. While we, Chani, who carry the name of concubine, history will call us wives. Now, doesn't that sound like a very impactful moment, a very impactful scene that would conclude the Dune movie? Do we get that at the end of Dune Part 2? If you've seen the movie, let me know, because this ending for the book sounds more impactful than what we got in the film. I don't want to spoil how Part 2 ends. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep it's spoiler free. But Dune Part 2, the movie, does not end with that type of dialogue. It doesn't end with that type of scene in your mind. So, getting into the actual review now. This has got to be my most anticipated movie of 2024. It was supposed to come out in December of 2023 for Christmas, but because of the strikes, it got pushed back. I just want to say this is a visual masterpiece. The visuals are great. The CGI that is used, you really can't tell when it's being used. Obviously, for like the sandworms and stuff, it's being used. But overall, I think it's just visually beautiful. It's a spectacle to the eyes. The camera work is amazing. Part 2 picks up immediately where part 1 ended. So if you're worried about like some sort of time gap or whatever that is actually in the book, it doesn't exist between part 1 and part 2, which is going to make it where if you end up watching part 1 and then you immediately plug in your disc of part 2 and you just watch part 1 and part 2 and you watch a 5.5 hour epic adventure like Lord of the Rings, for example, the extended edition, you can do that and it feels like a complete package. It feels like a complete adventure. There is no wokeness. There is no female empowerment. All the characters go through arcs. All the arcs that were left over to conclude get concluded in part 2. No character is trying to overtop any character. Every character has a purpose. They have a reasoning for being in the film. The second negative I want to talk about is the pacing. This film is almost 3 hours long. Now, there's just a pacing issue. Like, there's 30 minutes of this film that I felt either could have been cut out or that 30 minutes should have been put into spending time on lesser known characters. I think having more time with B-like characters or side characters like the Emperor or the Empress, not the Empress, the Princess, could have made the film feel a little more impactful. There's just, I understand, obviously, this is like a 600 plus page book. There's so many characters and whatnot that are on screen, and there's certain ones from the book that didn't make it on screen, so I understand it was a hard juggle to get everybody screen time, but there's certain parts of the film I felt were just kind of dragging it down and making it slow, and it kind of just stretches the runtime out for no reason. So either cut that 30 minutes of boring part out or replace it with interesting stuff. The villains in the film, they're constantly making dumb political and military decisions, unlike part 1. So I really never truly feared the bad guy army. I think the only character that I really feared was Thade Rotha, played by Austin Butler. Everybody else in the film I just felt was like, I'm bad because I'm bad. So it didn't feel like they were menacing. The Emperor didn't feel menacing. The Princess was more of a detective. I didn't feel even like the Harkonnens were truly evil and intense. They were more of a threat in part 1 than they were here. It just felt weird. The performances, though, from everybody, fantastic. The sound design, perfect. The soundtrack was epic and done by Hans Zimmer, in case you guys don't know. The film also continues to do a bunch of world building. We get to explore planets that we really didn't get to see in part 1, and the ones that we did get in part 1, they're explored in more detail. The action sequences are amazing. They're very intense. The film has a lot of plots going on, continuing plots from part 1 that get concluded, and then new plots are introduced in part 2 as well, including a love story, which I thought was great. There's a coming-of-age story going on. The film's also dealing with political and religious themes, and seeing that in a sci-fi movie just did a great. It was really cool to see all that in a sci-fi film. If you had problems with part 1 being slow because it was doing a bunch of plot build-up and character introduction and world building, I think you might enjoy part 2, especially the last half when it finally kicks into third gear. And it's like, okay, Paul Atreides, he's the Messiah. We're going to kick some Imperial ass. Let's go. So when it switches gears, and there's a moment in the film where Paul Atreides, he drinks something, and it switches him over from being this insecure, hey, I'm the new Duke, I'm the new leader of, House Atreides. When he switches over from that childish mindset and he just goes full on Messiah mode, it's like, oh wow. Like the film itself goes from being childish, hey, I need to learn how to become, like the Furman, and he drinks that. It just, the entire film, it just does a 360. It flips. Not only does Paul Atreides grow, but everyone around him, their attitude, their character arcs change. The tone of the film changes. It goes from being your typical sci-fi epic to being hey, we can be dark and gritty, and we're gonna get shit done because we need to conclude this, and here we go. It's just the film and everything just it was awesome. And I got to see it opening night. And this is the first movie I've gotten to see opening night since Avengers Endgame. And it was worth every moment of seeing this on screen. I am so glad I got to see it. At my theater, I got to see it in 4K with the Dolby Atmos sound system. And it was just breathtaking. It was awesome. Also, the fight scene between Paul Atreides and Theodrafa, the final duel. Oh, it was great. They took the soundtrack out. There was no sound. The only thing that was sound-wise being made was the swords or the daggers clashing with each other and the grunt sounds that both characters were making, and they're just swinging at each other and fighting and whatnot. And when Theodrafa makes that comment, he's like, hey, is this your pet? And he's like, does the pet need any special needs? It's like, it's just chilling to the bones. Like, okay, you want Paul Atreides to kick his ass. You want him to kill him because he's, making all of these, comments. It's like, kill him. Please kill him. You root for the good guys. You want them to die. It was just, it's a masterpiece, guys. I know a lot of people don't like Dune. Dune's not for everybody. I understand that. Okay? It's not it's not a widespread appealing film franchise. It's not going to be for everybody's taste. The books aren't for everybody either. I understand. I have friends and family that don't like Dune. They're just like, it's way too slow. It's not everybody's cup of tea. And you know what? It's fine. Not every single film or show or game or art form or media has to be appealing to everybody. I have musical tastes that a lot of my friends and family don't like. It's fine. It makes us individuals. But for me, as a sci-fi fan, as somebody who loves the first 3 books of Dune, I don't like 4, 5, and 6. That just goes into weird territory. I just loved it. It was beautiful. It was astonishing. Like I said, also, the ending of part 2 sets up a possible part 3. I don't want them to do one. I know that sounds really weird coming from a Dune fan, but I don't want a Dune part 3. I don't want it. And the reasoning behind why I don't want a part 3 or a Dune 2, I don't know how they would do more movies unless I just keep calling it Dune part 3, 4, 5, 6. That'd just be really weird. The reason I don't want it is they changed the ending, so it's weird in that way. The second thing is that the further you go into the Dune books, the weirder it gets. It's more bizarre than Narnia. Narnia has 7 books, and there's certain ones that just can't be put onto screen because certain things are just left to a reader's imagination based on what is on the page. Certain things just don't translate well from a book to a movie or a show. Okay, some things are just left better in your own imagination, in your own mind, in that way. If they do part 3 and it combines the second and third book, I think it'll be okay. But I think they need to stop there because it continues just getting weird. Like, there's a character that literally combines his human body with a worm, so he becomes a human worm person. It's really cuckoo, okay? It gets into absurd territory when it comes to the Dune books, the further you go on in the storyline. I think part 2 is a good conclusion. Obviously it sets up more, but I think if you want to know what happens next, read the books if you want to get into that. I don't want another Dune movie. I think part 1 and part 2, it's a good package. It's a good story. I enjoyed it for what it's worth. I want everybody that worked on these 2 movies to give us something new, fun, and epic. I enjoyed it, guys. Let me know in the comments down below. Did you guys like it? Why or why not? I'm giving Dune Part 2 a 9 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day. Look forward to more videos coming out soon. Next couple movies coming out here that are supposed to be coming out very soon for 2024 includes Despicable Me 4. I'm planning on reviewing that. Godzilla X Kong New Empire. I will be reviewing that as well. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Planning on reviewing that. And a bunch of other movies. I got a bunch of movies that are being released in March. So look forward to those reviews. If you guys miss out on any of them, I do have a 2024 films playlist here on the channel. So you guys can check it out in there in case you guys miss out on them. Have a great day, guys.